Have you ever felt like you're just stuck? Like you're living in a loop, running into the exact same walls over and over again, especially when it comes to your relationships or your money? Well, today, we're going to dive deep into those invisible forces that keep you repeating the same patterns, and, more importantly, how you can finally break free.
Seriously, does it feel like you're pushing with all your might to move forward, but there's this invisible wall that just stops you cold every single time? You know, you try to make different choices, you really do, but somehow you always end up right back in that same frustrating spot. We're going to talk about what happens when the real problem isn't what's right in front of you, but the thing you literally can't see.
Okay, think about it like this. You're driving your car. You check your rearview mirror, you check your side mirrors, but there's always that one little spot, right? The blind spot. And something dangerous could be hiding there. Well, life is exactly the same. We all have these personal blind spots that keep us from seeing the real reasons we're not making progress, whether it's finding a great partner or finally making the kind of money we want.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out there are two kinds of blind spots. First, there's the stuff we genuinely don't see, our totally unconscious patterns. But then there's the second kind, the stuff we do see, but we choose to ignore. We pretend it's not there. And let me tell you, that second one, the one we actively look away from, is by far the most destructive.
And this brings us to a really powerful metaphor, the dark room. This is where we keep the blind spots that we actually create for ourselves. It's this mental place where we intentionally shove our biggest problems, hiding them away from the light. And in doing so, we turn what could be a simple issue into something way, way more damaging.
So, how does this actually work? Well, it's a pretty predictable three-step cycle. First, we create the problem. Maybe we jump into a relationship that we know deep down isn't right. Then, step two, we hide it. When a friend or family member tries to point it out, to shine a little light on it, we shut them down. You don't understand. And finally, we feed it in the dark. Think about that person who is constantly complaining about their partner. They keep that person around because it gives them the perfect excuse for why their own life isn't working. That problem becomes precious to them.
And this quote right here, it just nails the core reason we stay stuck. Any delay in getting the results you want in life, in your career, your health, your finances, it's usually hiding a subconscious waiting period in your relationships. It's kind of wild, but we're actually maintaining a connection with someone through our problems.
Let's look at some real-world examples to make this crystal clear. You might subconsciously earn just enough money so that you still have to ask your dad for help, because deep down, you love that connection it brings. Or maybe you stay in a toxic relationship because, hey, if you leave, who are you going to blame for your life not being where you want it to be? There's always a hidden payoff. Some weird way our lack of progress actually keeps us connected to other people.
Okay, so we've spent some time in the dark, and we've identified the problem. Now, how do we get out? The way forward is what's called a journey of discoveries and new combinations. It's a really practical process of first unearthing these hidden truths, and then second, actively rewriting the rules of your life based on what you find. Let's see how that works.
The number one tool for this journey is something called a protocol. And I know that sounds kind of technical, but it's not. This isn't just a casual chat. A protocol is basically a structured, almost scripted framework that helps you have those difficult conversations you've been avoiding your whole life, maybe with your parents, an ex, or even just with yourself. It's designed to bring things out into the light, but in a safe and really effective way.
And after you use a protocol and it leads to a big discovery, a huge aha moment about a pattern, well, the old rules of your life just don't work anymore. This is where new combinations come in. You have to consciously, intentionally create new agreements and new boundaries. So, for example, after you discover you've been enabling a family member, the new combination might be a firm boundary around giving them money. It's all about building a new, much healthier reality for yourself.
And this brings us to what might be the most powerful and maybe confrontational takeaway of all. Before you see your blind spot, you are, for all intents and purposes, an innocent victim of your circumstances. It's your boss's fault, your ex's fault, your family's fault. But after you see it, after you become aware of the pattern, continuing to ignore it makes you an accomplice in your own story. The responsibility completely shifts back to you.
So, the power is officially 100% back in your hands. We've taken a peek inside that dark room, you've seen the patterns, and now you know there's a clear way out. So the only question left is the big one. Are you going to keep feeding the problem in the dark, or are you going to choose to create a new combination for your life? The choice is yours.